What is up, my fellow Jets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the New York Jets State of Mind podcast. This is a weekly podcast talking about everything New York Jets on this Monday, September the 8th, 2025. This is your boy, Malcolm Harper, aka MH Jets Fan 83. You can follow me on social media on X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at MH Jets Fan 83, which is one word, all lowercase. I also have a Facebook page as well. The audio version of this podcast is available on any of the digital platforms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. You can find the video version of this podcast on my YouTube channel if you prefer to watch. To all of my first-time listeners, welcome to my podcast. If you are a first-time viewer watching this on my YouTube channel, welcome aboard. If you are ready to subscribe, welcome back. Also, if you could do me a huge favor and share my channel and podcast along with my social media accounts with not only other Jets fans, but NFL fans, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for tuning in. In this episode, I will recap what happened in yesterday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, what went wrong from a coaching and an execution standpoint, and why am I encouraged even though there are no more victories. After 20, I'm finally able to give my thoughts on yesterday's game. Wow, what a tough loss by the New York Jets yesterday to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The final score was 34-32. The Jets are 0-1 to start the season. And let's get to the quarterbacks and fields. I have posted this on my social media accounts that I think that Justin Fields may end up becoming a blessing in disguise if he plays like that on a consistent basis. I want to give a shout out to the offensive coordinator, Tanner Engstrand, and the entire offensive coaching staff for putting together a solid game plan for Justin Fields. The running game was outstanding. Looking at the box score, the Jets ran for 182 yards on 39 carries with 4.7 yards a carry. That's pretty darn good. The offensive line imposed their will in this game. Let me give a shout out to Breace Hall. He ran for 107 yards on 19 carries. And the Jets had almost 400 yards of offense, 394 yards of total offense to be exact. Not to mention the fact that Fields did not even turn the ball over either, which I will get to Xavier Gipson later in this episode because I'm not happy with him and I'm not letting him off the hook. And Jets fans, you literally saw it from the very first possession, the identity of this team. The very first play was an 18-yard run by Breace Hall. 8 out of the 10 plays were all run, including the first 4 plays on that scoring drive that ended up with a 35-yard field goal by Nick Folk. The Steelers came right back with their touchdown drive for Aaron Rodgers to take the lead 7-3. The next Jets possession was 6 plays, 55 yards, taking 3 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock that ended up with a beautiful touchdown pass from Justin Fields to his college buddy, Garrett Wilson, for 33 yards. The Jets regained the lead 9-7 after a failed 2-point conversion and Nick Folk missing the extra point. The Steelers regained the lead 10-9 on a Chris Boswell 56-yard field goal. Next Jets possession capped off a 7-play 68-yard drive with an 8-yard touchdown run by Braylon Allen. That was an impressive run by Allen. They regained the lead 16-10. Next Steelers possession, the Steelers punt after a 3-and-out. The next Jets possession, they extended the lead to 19-10 thanks to a 51-yard field goal by Nick Folk. 8 plays, 41 yards. That took 4 minutes and 53 seconds off the clock. Steelers then cut the lead to 19-17 on their next possession, on the Jets' last possession of the first half. Even though they didn't score before halftime, I had no issue with the 15-yard penalty by John Simpson after Ramsey literally drilled Justin Fields. He basically went after him, and you have to stick up for your quarterback, and I absolutely love what he did. Now, let's get to the second half. The Steelers' first possession resulted in a punt. The Jets' first possession resulted in a punt. The next Steelers' possession resulted in a punt. The next Jets' possession caps off a 12-play, 76-yard drive with Justin Fields scoring on a quarterback sneak from 2 yards out. The Jets extended the lead to 26-17. Next Steelers' possession, they would score on a TD pass from Aaron Rodgers to Warren. And my thing is, when that ended up happening, where in the world was the coverage that you let them go out in the flats and score that touchdown? Busted coverage by the defense. Now, here is the turning point of the game. The Jets received the kickoff, and Xavier Gipson, with Kane leaving the game with a hamstring injury, fumbles the ball, and the Steelers recover. 2 plays later, the Steelers regain the lead with a TD pass from Aaron Rodgers to Austin for 18 yards. He was literally wide open, and yet again, busted coverage, specifically in the secondary. Okay, now the score is now 31-26. Next Jets possession, 12 plays, 67 yards, taking 7 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. I wish that Justin Fields would have scored on that touchdown run on 3rd and goal, only to have Brandon Echols, the former Jet, tackle him out of bounds at the 1-yard line. And let me just say this, Jets fans. Big shout out to Aaron Glenn for having the confidence in the offense to go for it on 4th down and 1. And you also want to give kudos to Tanner Enstrand, the offensive coordinator, with the play call, with a 1-yard naked bootleg for Justin Fields to essentially high step his way into the end zone. The 2-point conversion was the head scratcher for me because Justin Fields tried to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson, but he was literally in triple coverage. The next respective possessions for both teams resulted in a punt. The next Steelers possession, 2 key plays that were on that drive. The first play was the pass interference call by Brandon Stevens for 19 yards. The very next play was the ball that was caught by DK Metcalf. And I could not even believe that he caught that ball. Are you kidding me? How is that possible? Got the drive off with a 60-yard field goal by Boswell. The Jets had a chance to win the game in the final possession. The first play was a 7-yard pass to Tyler Johnson. Then the next 3 plays were incompletions. Now it's 4th down and 7. And to me, Justin Fields had a chance to run the ball for a 1st down. But instead, he tried to pass the ball to Garrett Wilson. But Wilson could not hold on to the ball and he gets drilled by Jalen Ramsey to end the game. Tough loss. Look, Jets fans, like AG said in his open press conference, that there are no moral victories. We lost the game, but I'm all about the eye test. And call me crazy, but even though that Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes, Justin Fields was the best quarterback on the field because he was confident, he was decisive, and he did not turn the ball over. He was the reason why we ended up staying in this game. He put us in that position to win that game. His final stat lines were 16 of 22 for 218 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown, along with 12 carries for 48 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns for a grand total of 266 total yards and 3 total touchdowns. And if you would have told me before the game that the Jets would score 32 points, cover the 2.5 points, and only lose the game by 2, and went over the point total of 37.5 with a total combined score of 66, then I would have actually looked at you and say you were out of your mind. And this is a wild stat, Jets fans, that for the first time since 1991 that the Jets did not punt in the first half. That tells you all you need to know about the Jets offense. Not only was the offense being a modern offense, but it was not an inept offense for once. And we can all agree that was the best brand of football in the first half. And Jets fans, we have seen this so many times in the past in which the Jets offense did not even know what to do. Not to mention too many 3-and-outs. And that's the reason why the defense always ended up wearing down in the end. And it was frustrating to watch. Rich Cimini of ESPN tweeted that it was the first time that the Jets scored 19 points in the season opener since they scored 27 points on September 9th, 2012 versus the Buffalo Bills. And he did mention Stephen Hill in that tweet. What a disaster that guy was. But that was besides the point. And I posted this on my social media accounts that if Justin Fields actually plays like that, he may actually have a breakout season for us. Now, big shout out to Breece Hall because he balled out as well too. His final stat lines were 19 carries for 107 yards with 2 catches for 38 yards for a grand total of 145 yards for scrimmage and an average of 6.9 yards a touch. Not too shabby, I might add. Garrett Wilson, he had 7 catches for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. This was awesome when he was covering DK Metcalf. And Jet fans, don't let his stat line fool you because he ended up making those plays when Sauce was literally not covering him. We all know the defense, especially the secondary, needs to be cleaned up with the busted coverage, and Gibson should be off this team. I have said that from the last couple of episodes that he should not even be on this team. Jamal Pritchard should be returning punts, in my opinion. And don't be surprised if he ends up becoming a healthy scratch in the next game against the Bills. The run defense of the New York Jets was good, giving up 53 yards, and the defense did get 4 sacks, so that was encouraging. 7 penalties for 74 yards, that's also a good thing, but I will say this. Thank God it was not double-digit penalties and over 100 yards. So the discipline is there on that aspect. The execution on offense was awesome. There was a plan in place. Just wish the defense would have showed up, especially the pick 6 that Brandon Stevens should have made. And Jermaine Johnson's reaction said it all with 6 minutes left in the game when CBS showed the replay. The offensive line was solid, especially the two tackles. Joe Tittman was good. There was a lot of running lanes. But overall, hopefully this is a sign of things to come for this team. I'm encouraged, even though we did not win the game. So those are my thoughts of what happened, what went wrong from a coaching and execution standpoint. And if I had to go and give a grade to Justin Fields, he would get a solid A from me. Now, before I get on out of here, as far as my social media accounts go, I currently have 198 followers on TikTok. I'm 2 followers away from 200. On Instagram, I have 156 followers. I'm 44 followers away from 200. Since the last episode of my podcast, no new followers on my YouTube channel, and I'm still at 58. So like I said, I'm hoping I'll be able to get 100 followers by the last day of the year. Now, as far as X, formerly known as Twitter, goes, since my last episode of my podcast, when I posted it, I reached 100 followers. As I'm recording this episode, I just picked up 26 new followers since last Thursday. I am now at 126 followers. My numbers are growing on all of my social media accounts, but I need your help and I need more followers. So please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also do the same thing on any of the digital platforms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Hit the follow button on my social media accounts. For those of you watching on my YouTube channel, I have all of my social media account links as well. Now, with that said, I'm out, y'all. I cannot thank you enough for the love and support. I really appreciate it. I'm all about the little things. I'm going to be posting key clips of this episode and the latest Jets news on all of my social media accounts on X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and my Facebook pages, respectively. Jets fans, you're all awesome. Hopefully, I don't get called in for jury duty on Wednesday. I will be back to preview the week 2 matchup against the Buffalo Bills if I don't get called for jury duty. If I do get called for jury duty for the rest of the week, I will be posting my thoughts on what may end up happening next Sunday against the Buffalo Bills on my social media accounts. And as always, Jets fans, I always end the podcast with a JETS, 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 Jets. Stay safe, take care, and go Jets.